Welcome to book club, everyone. Another Monday, 3 o'clock. Today's book, today's book, as it's been for the last, I think we are on episode 9, technically, because one episode was hosted on Tracy's channel. Anyways, Enola Holmes, Case of the Missing Marquess. We're at the end of the book, and I'm excited to bring in our panel. We have some amazing people hanging out in chat. Let's get to it. First up, we've got, he's back. He's ready to rumble. It's our cottage channel. What in the world with Ross? Okay, Ross.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. And next, we've got the amazing, the talented Gina, classy Disney mom. Welcome, Gina. I just realized I have.
Hi.
Showing names turned off. Here we go. Turn those names back on. All right. Welcome in, Gina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Sorry you said that. I was distracted. I'm great. Doing well. I'm going to welcome in our next guest. Tim Pruitt. He's sick there. Stop rocking the boat, Tuki. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Because I'd be saying the same thing. Tim, welcome in. Good to see you.
Well, hello. Thank you. Glad to be here. Lost for words there for a minute, which rarely happens.
Oh, goodness. And next and last, but certainly not least, he's back from Walt Disney World, which I'm sure he's not glad. Tracy Glenn, Kenzie Dee's dad, is the channel. Another amazing friend of ours. Guys, it's going to be a good discussion, but first I want to rake in. I can't talk today.
Chomp said check out, make sure I think Sunshine's on her way.
Oh, good. Okay. So we'll get her in here as soon as she pops in. All right, let's get to the chat while we wait for Sunshine. We're going to welcome in.
I have a hat too, Tracy.
What? Wait, hold on.
But I can't get it on my head.
It's a little small, Tim. I don't know if you noticed.
With the headphones on, it really is. But Tracy had one on, so I wanted to be like Tracy.
No, where'd Tracy go? He's up to shenanigans. Yeah. Yeah, I knew it.
Oh, he's got another hat.
What in the world?
He stole Kenzie's hat.
Sunshine Terrace. I love it.
They should have all got one that color. Actually, I'm surprised Tracy doesn't have one that color. It would match his sweatshirt. His Reese's.
Which, by the way, did you get your sweatshirt back?
Oh, okay. That's right. He left it at Jeff's, didn't he?
Yeah, and then there was this huge thing, which we won't speak of Just
I
gotta
got
get
it
out.
back.
Hopefully he washed it and bleached it before he put it on.
If you bleached
No.
it, though, it wouldn't be orange.
Well,
What's
true.
that?
If you bleached it, it wouldn't be orange anymore.
Well, let's just say sanitized it in some fashion.
Well, the thing is, this is the hat I was wearing with the shirt that Russ got me, and
Yeah.
I really did look like a traffic cone walking around.
It's a good thing they weren't doing fireworks because you'd probably.
I seriously did look like a traffic cone.
Yeah.
You
When
could have
Kenzie
walked
called
around
me
in
a
Toy
traffic
Story
cone-
Land.
When Kenzie called me a traffic cone, yeah, I looked like a traffic cone.
You could have
That's
walked
awesome.
around in Toy Story Land and acted like you were just one of the cast members.
Mm-hmm. All right, so finishing welcoming chat. Let's see if I can get through this. Tim Pruitt also in chat and also on screen with us. Welcome in. Good to see you. Russ also in chat and on screen. Trying to figure out what chapters we were supposed to read. It's chapters 13, 14, and 15. So we're going to see how far we get today. Tina McNeil, my neighbor to the west. Good to see you. And I'm going to scroll down. We got Tracy Glenn in chat and also on screen with us. Monarch Moments. Tina, check Instagram. I sent you some book club ideas. Yeah, he sent them all right, and I'm not going to share them.
I heard. I think he wants to say everybody poops or something like that.
No, it was cucumbers. And if you don't know the story of cucumbers and pickles, go and watch Dad Build's show from Saturday, and you will get the recap. Jill
I had to
DeFro,
finally. Wasn't sure what to make of that.
yeah, you and me both. Jill DeFore, welcome in. Good to see you. Just downloaded the book to my Kindle. Oh, good. So we'll talk about what's going to happen on the next book club. Nathan Rado, welcome in. Good to see you. Christine Hickman, hello. Space Mountain Dave Kintraw, welcome in, Dave. Well, it skipped on me. I hate when chat does that. Come on. Movie
You just gotta be
Maniac,
faster.
welcome in, Nick. Apparently, quick like a bunny. Choms 56, welcome in, Choms. Waiting on Sunshine. She's on her way. No worries at all. Annie Kook 86, welcome in, Ann. And am I all caught up? Nope. Mike 88, welcome in. Good to see you, Mike. Okay. So we'll jump into the thick of it while we wait for Sunshine. Chapter 13. Any thoughts on chapter 13? What do we think about this chapter?
This is the
We
one
left
where she
off-
gets away, right?
Yeah, this is. So we left off with Tukey, if we're gonna call him, rocking the boat. Rock the boat.
Rock the boat.
baby.
Don't baby,
rock the boat. Tip boat over.
Rock the boat.
Okay. Everything has to be a song with me. Sorry, Russ, you had to endure that on Friday as well. So now we're gonna figure out why the heck he's rocking the boat. So getting into it, thoughts. What do you guys think?
Well, it's
Yeah,
pretty.
I mean, this is the escape. So
Yeah, it was pretty sharp of him to figure that out. I mean, I wasn't sure he would be that aware of the situation that he could see. I mean, because leading up to this, we just pretty much heard he's a really sheltered, spoiled kid. Or maybe not spoiled isn't the right word, but certainly guarded and maybe but he figured out that he needed to distract Squeaky or whatever his name was, and which I thought was interesting that he figured that out that quick.
Well, and he kind of shows some bravery too.
Yeah.
Where
Jill, the answer is yes, always yes. Sorry, Russ, I had to get that in there.
But why?
we haven't really seen that in him yet before. He's kind of been that, like you said, he's been the kind of the
Spoiled
weak
rich kid.
Yeah, the weak rich kid that he didn't have that until now that they're in this situation. So and I also kind of think too that he's trying to show off for Enola. So
I have to ask what Tracy's doing to give somebody nightmares. What is that
I don't know.
speakable? Okay.
Jill's gonna have to answer that one.
Maybe
my answer is always yes. So
okay, sorry. Back to play.
Yeah, my
She's
thoughts.
really witty.
So anyway, he did. Yeah, he showed
Mhm.
some initiative. He showed some spirit,
Well-
a little bit of bravery. He took part here in the escape. He just didn't lay there and expect her to do it all.
Here's my question though. Why did he have to rock the boat? She was chomping. She was sawing away at those ropes while he was sleeping without him needing to rock the boat. He woke him up. He woke Squeaky up by rocking the boat. I mean, even if he stays sleeping.
He's not in. He thought he was doing right by her, not realizing that there's other ways that, so he just wanted this. I think he was trying to help out, but not realizing that it probably would have waken him up. He was just thinking, if I distract was it Squeaky by doing this, it would take attention away from her, even if it woke her. I think it was a stupid move on his part, but I think he just didn't know.
Okay.
Gina, you were getting ready to say something.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was saying that I felt like she is really witty. I feel like even though she's been, sheltered, but not in a babyish way, I guess, like, Tuki was. But I think she really is smart. And I guess that's probably, her resemblance to Sherlock, that she's kind of, more aligned with him. But she's very witty and smart. And I don't know, I just thought that was fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we're going to
I see what happened. I went back and reviewed something. Well, because I was confused about something, but what woke Squeaky up was she was wiggling around trying to cut the ropes, and that was causing the boat to rock. So when he woke up, Tookie jumped in and started rocking the boat to make him think it was him instead of her doing it.
Okay.
He was trying to show heroics.
Yeah.
Create a diversion too.
Sorry, I just had to clear that up in my own head.
No, that was good. Thank you. All right, that makes sense then. Yeah, so basically he rocks the boat. There's a fight that ensues. I mean, Squeaky gets up and starts kicking him, and Tookie is trying to put up this big boy front, saying it doesn't hurt, but it clearly hurts. Mm-hmm. She breaks free. She thwaps him over the head with something, right?
A rock, a Bill's rock, yeah. Ballast rock.
Yep.
Yeah. Knocks him out. Ooh, and I think there we go. There's Miss Sunshine.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Sunshine.
Hey, Sunshine.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Not too bad. I can move my arm now. Huh?
She needs Tracy's hat.
I said she needs Tracy's hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Sunshine Terrace. I love it. Okay, so basically they end up escaping, but the head guy that's on the head honcho, we'll call him, which we'll find out his name in a little bit, wakes up and he's in his like red flannel jammies, I guess, on this boat, which cracked me up again, like this vision. And it's literally cracking me out.
I don't know what's wrong with red flannel pajamas. They're very comfortable.
Well, I'm sure they are.
As long as they've got a drop flap rear end, so you can.
I know, you know what I mean. Sometimes you if you don't have that button in the back, it can be bad.
Yeah.
But
a lot of buttons done do.
They jump onto the wharf, and he gets dressed, and he's chasing after him. Running all around, trying to look for a place. She can't jump in the water and swim because she can't swim. And she's betting that Tookie can't swim either. But they make it onto, I don't know, whatever. I'm trying to paint this picture of like, there's the dock, there's the wharf, and then there's, the water in between. And they have to get to the actual ground, which is the, not on a dock or on a wharf. Excuse me. And they make it, and basically they get chased in circles, and finally she sees this woman. And am I missing any details? Because I'm skipping over just Cliff Notes version.
Well, I mean, they got lost a couple times because when the head guy comes out, he goes, I won't be far behind because he knows the docks more than they do. So obviously
Right.
they've taken a couple different wrong turns. Then Tewksbury decides he wants to lead, and then she's like, nope, he led us in the wrong spot. So that's why, I mean, they probably could have got a head start if they knew where they were going. And obviously the docking situation, they were lost. And then once they got to ground, the Squeaky and the other guy were back up and both chasing.
She took time to notice he was wearing his unmentionables. That's always funny to me. That seems to be something that really bothers her a lot.
Well,
anyway,
she's born to a privileged family, so they.
Well, I know, but still, her mom didn't treat her like that entirely, though. But you're right, she did.
She did and she didn't. She did treat her as a privileged family. Like, she didn't know about unmentioned. She knows enough that we're.
Yep. You got it, Zip. On the water.
On the water.
On the water. Sorry, go ahead.
By the time you come home from visiting your family, that is going to be so thick.
Yeah. It's really thick when I go back home because I'm literally in the thick of it. My family, they all have Boston accents, and my friends. So when I get back, watch out.
You know what? Probably you probably just relax and speak naturally. I mean, you probably return home there.
Yeah.
In my case, when I go back to my family, they would speak just as hickish as I do, so it wouldn't be a big deal. For the most part.
So did anybody else think of these henchmen guys? I keep thinking when I hear Squeaky, I keep thinking of Lenny and Squiggy from the Bunny Shirley.
Yes.
That might work.
Maybe that's what she was thinking of throughout the book.
And they also put me in mind of there's usually a couple of bumbling idiots in a Disney movie, like the Aristocats maybe had a pair, but in the Dalmatian movie had a couple of guys that were working for Corella. And there's usually a tall, skinny one and a short, chubby one, and they're always running over each other. So that's kind of put me in mind of them. Except these guys are obviously meaner.
Right.
I mean, he has tried to kill her or cut her bad, at least.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Welcome in Christine Hickman and welcome in Zip because I didn't officially.
Well, I think you missed Amy and Mike 88 also.
I did know I got Mike 88, but welcome in Amy. Good to see you guys. And Debbie Birdfield. There we go. Hey Debbie, welcome in.
Did you get Christine Hickman and
Disney Nerd Herders? Welcome in. Yep, Christine Hickman. Okay. Welcome in everyone. Good to see you guys. I am not doing the Dadville wave because there's no way that my hand can do that. But warmest wishes and welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. So all right. So what were you guys saying? ADHD brain squirrel.
Well, they're trying to find a place to hide.
Yep.
Yeah. They're running in a place they totally do not know. I mean, they have no idea where they're headed.
Right. So I have to scoot forward a little bit.
So where you left off is where she recognized the woman. They circled around and came back to the woman. While she did that, she handed her a note.
Mm-hmm. When she realizes who the woman is.
Yeah, she realized who she is. She's the lady from the train.
The lady from the train, who, and I thought something might have been up when she's trying to reach out to her and tell her, hey, you need to change your clothing. Use clothing down here on the wharf. You had to know she was probably trying to self-advertise, and it worked.
Yeah,
it was helpful. So that was good. All right. So, where am I? So they jump. She hands her the note. They run into the shop, and this woman's like, no, because if these people find out that I'm harboring you in here, they're gonna kill me. But she does it anyway. She gives her a note. She disappears for a while, which we'll find out why she disappears. And then comes back, and she's standing in the doorway of her shop, which is apparently what they did back then to try to bring customers in. And she comes back into the doorway. And they hide under the table. So she finds, the two bad guys come back. The woman nods her head like, no, she hasn't seen them. They go on their merry way. and she sees the two villains turn away and run or walk away, whatever, to continue the search.
Anybody besides me expect her to just give them over? I mean, for a minute there, I thought she was in it with them.
Take the £100 note and then
Yeah, and just turn them in.
Yeah. Let's see. By the time she entered, I had recovered my strength and found a back room with tap water, soaked a rectangle of faded red flannel, and applied it to Tuki's face. When he sat up, I transferred my attention to his feet. So she's cleaning him up. She's cleaning up his wounds and whatnot. And his feet are really sore because he was running on cobblestone with no shoes. And he's limping because the guy kicked his legs. Squeaky kicked his legs like about three or four times on the boat when he was trying to create the diversion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the lady says to her, one day you're a grieving widower, and the next day it turns out you're a stringy-haired girl running from Cutter and Squeaky. So now we find out.
Squeaky.
So it's funny that she called the guy Squeaky, Enola. Yeah. She got that right because apparently his nickname is Squeaky, and then the head honcho's name is Cutter if you don't have the Boston accent. And so she's cleaning them off. There's some words that are exchanged, and she claims that she went to bribe the neighbors during that spot where she disappeared to go and tell them to hush hush because they saw that she ran into her shop, and if they gave her away, her life is on the line.
You got to also think. I think it said she gave her £100 note, which back then was a lot of money. Would have been a lot of money.
Yeah.
So absolutely. She certainly could have shared with people, and that still had plenty left over, I'm guessing.
Right. But she's thinking she probably didn't promise her much. She probably promised them something, but not a whole lot. Not that it's gonna kill her because £100 was a lot. So they end up staying the night. She harbors them in the shop. They stay overnight, and in the morning they get dressed. They get new clothes. She gives them more money. She gives her more. Enola gives Mrs. was it
Culhane?
Culhane.
Gives her more money, and she dresses them up. And I'm trying to see. Let's see. They bathed, and I'm trying to see where it says what they were dressing as. But anyways, they weren't dressing as kids, as typical kids. We'll say that they were dressing as maybe like a secretary or something. She was dressing up as, and I don't know. Did it say what the boy was dressing? What?
Yeah. Hang on, I'm working on that here. He had a cap and a pair of shoes. She was wearing something like a typist or a glove counter girl might wear. Yeah. And I think he was just dressed as a typical boy on the street for that area.
Right.
And it doesn't say everything here, but that's
right.
She's even got a pair of glasses on, pinched to her nose.
Yeah. Now there is something that I wanted to bring up, and I thought I highlighted it, but I don't know now. I don't know where it is because several times during this, she's had to rip open her dress. This is when they were running, to rip open her corset, and I forget why she was doing it, but she was doing it, and she's hiding. So she's got that modesty now, and this to me, like if at the beginning of the novel when she would just wear knickerbockers and just be like running carefree and wild and not care if she looked like a lady or not. Now it seems like she's come a long way in the 3 days that she's been on the run, being more modest, more ladylike, trying to conceal things that shouldn't be unconcealed, I guess, which I think is interesting. It just piqued my interest.
Well, she's also, she doesn't come out and say that she likes this kid, but she kind of does, in my opinion, too. And so she's kind of thinking of those things now a little more, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it could be. That could be.
Yeah, it
could be. Like at home, she was like in her own environment, maybe, and now it's like this big city, and she's in a lot of trouble, and I don't know. It's almost like everything you know is not there. All whatever you're used to is not there. So it's almost like plus I think she's hiding money in her clothes too.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, her corset has become kind of her bulletproof vest. I mean, that's
right.
That's her utility
purse.
belt.
She's realized it saved her life once already, even though she doesn't want to wear it for any other reason. But
right,
and so so part of it could be too, that she's trying to hide that. And of course, the thing, she's already had to rip the thing apart to take pieces out of it, and then it's got the pockets all through it, and so it's
right.
Cynthia said, wait a minute, Cynthia says we got to start over.
Yep.
Welcome in, Cynthia. Good to see you. If I missed it, I don't think I missed anything else, but Dennis says 100 pounds would have been a few years wages back in the 1880s. Wow.
I think so too.
Wow.
Think about this too for a minute. London, I believe, that may not be entirely true because there was huge cities in Asia, I'm sure, but London was supposed to be one of the largest, busiest cities in the world at that time. And she grew up pretty much just her and her mom and maybe a small town that they went to occasionally. But this would be such a foreign environment to her. You might as well throw me in the middle of the Sahara Desert or something compared to, what she's, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It would be so she's getting around. I mean, in all things considered, she's probably done pretty well for somebody that's never been in this kind of environment. It's got to, and even Tukey's never, well, we don't know for sure, but he's been very sheltered. We don't know if she ever took him to the big city or not, but certainly didn't let him run loose on the streets. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. Jill DeFore says, part of Boston. So I grew up in a city called Revere, which is a city north of Boston. Mm-hmm. It's part of the greater Boston area. Yeah. All right. So.
Is there a city named Paul also?
Nope, but it was Revere was named after Paul Revere. So.
Okay, just wondering.
Yep, I went to Revere High School, Paul Revere Elementary. Yeah, it's full on Revere. But anyways, all right, let's see. She says,
I just had just seen here the paragraph where it says that she felt naked about not having, like, she didn't have her veil on anymore. She was in a different persona now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so she's now having to think about, okay, well, I'm no longer the widow. I don't have anything covering my face anymore, except maybe the glasses, but she's now they've got to figure out, okay, what's next?
Right. Absolutely.
So she's got a hat. She's got a slop hat, kind of like Tracy's, sloppy hat.
Yep.
Well, like you said, I think she kind of looks like she's an office worker or, so it's not like she's dressed down or anything. She looks nice.
No.
It's just that she's a different character now.
When you're reading the novel, it pretty much describes her that they're dressed in used clothing but not worn clothing. Right. So they look like the average, what I would say, middle class person of the 1800s. Not like they really had a middle class, but they weren't the worst off. They weren't like, they just happened to look like regular people in that area. So they can blend from the lower docks to Middletown, Midtown, or so. It wasn't unnormal to see them in the slums, and it wasn't unnormal to see them in the other areas of London.
Did anybody here ever watch the Midwife show that was on or has been on PB? Yeah, that show was filmed supposedly in the East End of London, which is kind of where this is happening. Down by the docks, it's where a lot of the, I guess, industry was at that time. A poorer part of town, slums by some standards. I mean, and that's kind of where she's at. That's the area and the neighborhood.
The working class.
Yeah, the working class section of London at that time, I guess. Maybe still, for all I know. But so she was trying to, and if you ever saw that show, that people there were often, they weren't dressed up like the finest that you'd see in London, but they were workers. They just had what they had. But so I envision her as someone who's trying to blend into that crowd, which, again, she had to have little background on that. She's figured that out. Or maybe Miss Culhane helped her along that way, and they just don't talk about it. But
Yep. Okay. Sorry, I was
no,
typing.
me too. Sorry, I'll shut it.
No, you're fine. All right. So they leave through the back door, and upon leaving, she places another banknote in the palm of her hand. And there wasn't many words spoken while she was getting ready. Who did we lose? We lost him.
No, I'm here. We lost Gina.
Yeah, we
we
lost
lost
Gina.
Gina.
I moved up to Gina's spot.
I was like, wait a minute, my bottom slot was gone. That's all right. She'll be back when she can. And our clothing, neither new or worn out, neither rich nor poor. I hope we would escape anyone's attention, for I wanted no one bearing news of us to Cutter. And she realizes people are busy, they're going about their thing, no one's noticing them. So they make it past I think the port area is what I'm realizing. And they make it into like the regular spots where she can now hail it for a taxi. But not before. Oh, there she is. Welcome back.
I totally pressed the button and everything shut off. So
Oh no.
sorry.
Yeah.
That was weird. Okay.
That happens with button pushers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
Oh, okay.
All right. So they got into, what did they get into before she gets in the taxi? Did she get into something? I didn't highlight it.
Well, they get on the omnibus, I think, don't they?
The omnibus.
Yeah, temporarily. That's
Yeah.
true.
What does an omnibus look like back then? Because it's not.
So it's like a tall carriage, kind of a stagecoach looking type thing. Big, like it's like a double decker. It's the double decker bus that they have in London now
Of that period,
but with horse drawn.
Yeah, not quite as big, but that same kind of concept.
Yeah, it's just it's the public transportation.
Oh, that's right.
So it'd be cheaper. It'd be cheaper than hiring a buggy or a cab.
Right.
It's mass
Right.
transportation.
What's what?
Okay.
It's their form of mass
Yeah.
transportation in the 1880s.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so here's the part where I really liked. She carried a list that she had written in some wakeful hours during the night. Why did Cutter search the train? Why did he follow me? Why did he think I knew where to find Tukey? What did he want with Tukey? Why did he wire Squeaky to look for Tukey on the docks? What did he mean when he said much the same? Is he in the business of kidnapping? How much did he know? How did he know anything about Tukey and the giant Eastern et al? And we're gonna find that out.
Somebody's been talking.
How indeed?
How indeed. And she's thinking, she's thinking the only two people that had heard her talk to Inspector Lestrade was Lestrade himself and Madame something or another, whatever the heck her name was.
Yeah.
Madame Fakes Bottom.
I like that. That's good. I can remember that too. Yeah. Okay.
And so, let's see. So much for my thoughts as my limping escort and I walked a few blocks to her site, still passing things, and she asked him, "What's the name you'd chosen for yourself?" And he was like, "I never mind, doesn't matter anymore." So she says, "Why? What are you going to do?" And he says, "I don't know." And then she says to him, "Do you still want to go to sea?" And swivels to stare at her, and he's like, you know everything. How do you know so much? Who are you? Are you really related to Sherlock Holmes? And so she bit her lip because I'm guessing she wants to tell him, but she still doesn't trust him. And then she hears the moment a newsboy howled from the corner by the cab stand. Read all about it. Ransom demand for Viscount Tewkesbury Basilweather. And she was like, what? Now there's a ransom. Okay. So she grabs the paper and pays for it. Begins reading. The headline reads, "Sensational Development in Kidnapping Case." Sitting next to me on a park bench so that we could both see the newspaper at once, Tuki made a muffled sound of dismay. My picture? He knows what he used to look like and how his mother used to dress him, and it's not all
Yeah,
that
but not
flattering.
in the London newspaper.
But now in the next, yeah,
I can only imagine how embarrassing that would be at that moment.
yeah.
I
And
don't.
now,
I know exactly how embarrassed you can be.
Do you?
yeah,
Did your mother dress you that way? Did she?
No, but I've embarrassed myself multiple times. So.
especially with the old Jerry curls there.
True. I have seen that picture.
So he's thinking he can't go back, and she says, "What if somebody recognizes the picture like Mrs. Culhane?" And he says to her, she would never look at a newspaper. She can't read. The people in those cots down by the docks, they can't read. And so he really starts to reflect on his time down there. But then she continues reading the newspaper. Most surprising turn of events took place this morning with the arrival of an unsigned ransom demand at Basilweather Hall, Belvedere.
Can I say one thing about that?
Yep.
Well, it was a good. I don't know that what he said is entirely true. I mean, I'm sure some could read, but he did make a good point there. He noticed right off. He said, "Did you see any newsboys down there?" And she had to agree they hadn't. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I guess they just didn't bother.
Right.
So anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to.
No, that's a good point. Yeah. Despite Chief Inspector Lestrade's most astute discovery of the young lord's cache of nautical paraphernalia in a treetop hideaway, and then Tuki's like, "Oh no."
Mm-hmm. So that means he did take Enola seriously, though. He went and looked he found the treehouse and looked in it like she told him he should do.
Right. In his subsequent energetic inquiries at the London docks, where he located several eyewitnesses who claimed to have seen the missing youngster upon the very day of his disappearance. It would now appear that the Viscount heir to the Basilweather title and fortune has indeed been kidnapped. Yada, yada, yada. Scrolling down, famed medium and astral purgatorian Madame Lilia... Oh, fake bottom, because I can't pronounce that. Called in by the Basilweather family at the onset of the crisis, advises most strongly that the ransom which is to be gathered in the form of gold sovereigns and guineas, pending instructions for delivery, should be paid, as her communications with spiritual manifestations advise her that the Viscount Tewkesbury is indeed held captive and in danger of his very life, unless they paid full ransom. Tim, didn't you say last week that you wonder if Madame Fakesbottom was involved in this, perhaps?
Yeah, I did. I mean, that's what made the most sense. I mean, there was a lingering thought in my mind that this the inspector might have been in on something, but I didn't really think so. But I knew she was sneaking around and trying to listen. So I figured she was up to something. I mean, that's usually what that type did. They'd find secrets, then they'd suddenly reveal them mysteriously in the seance or something, And so I knew she was up to something. I wasn't sure how, but I figured they were linked together.
Yeah. Well,
and we're about to find out how.
Exactly. There was more, but at this point, I ceased reading and sat staring at the cab stand, but she wasn't looking at the cab stand. She was trying to remember what Madame Lilia had looked like. But so much had happened in the past 3 days that I retained only an impression of red hair, a large face, large body, and large hands in yellow kid gloves. And I remembered something about the yellow kid gloves, and I think they were on the boat, right?
I think so. I think she saw them somewhere again.
Yeah.
Well, she saw him wearing them when they were.
That's right.
When he tried to attack her,
yeah, that's
he had those on. That's right.
He had them on.
Mm-hmm. So.
And if you think about it, he was doing the same thing she was doing. He was casing the the house, trying to figure out what has happened to the boy so that he could take advantage.
Right.
And she was there trying to figure it all out. So.
Yep. So he says in a small voice, "I have to go back," because he can't let them swindle his mother out of money, and because they're catching on as to what they're doing. So she said, "We better go to the police." So finally, he said, "It wasn't what I expected anyway. The shipyards, I mean, the water is filthy and so are the people." And then he starts to describe things, the living conditions. And then he mentions the crawlers. And if you remember, she witnessed an old woman with like scabies or something, hair falling out. Apparently those are called crawlers or dosses. They call them because they're always dozing. There they sit 3 times a month, and they are allowed a meal and a night's sleep in the workhouse. And she's astonished. She's like, "What do you mean? This is all they're allowed at the workhouse? I thought the workhouses were supposed to help the unfortunate." And he was like, "I thought that too, but they turned me away when he went to ask for shoes." And so she says, "I'm glad you've decided to go home." And they're going to head to Scotland Yard. 2 days in London had made me aware, too, of much that I had not known before. And now that I did know, my own ill fortune seems small enough. So they get in the cab, and she says to Scotland Yard. So off they go to Scotland Yard. Francisco, welcome in. Tracy.
Francisco.
That's fun to see, Francisco.
Tim was your substitute while you were gone. He got thrown into the mix of it rather well, I might say. I'm just gonna say that.
But I won't tread on your territory there, Tracy. Not while you're here.
I'm sure he wouldn't care. Viscount is Viscount. Yeah, I know, but I pronounce it Viscount because that's just I'm a rebel without a cause.
Viscount Fake Bottom.
Wrong fake bottom.
Seriously. All right, so chapter the 15th. I didn't realize we would just do 2 chapters, but chapter the 15th. She had her own errand to run at Scotland Yard. They get to the desk, and the guy at the desk is like, the constable's like, "I don't care who you are. You wait in line like everybody else." So clearly, maybe he's not gotten the news that this kid is being searched for.
He doesn't think they're it. I mean, he may just not believe they're.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like little Lord Tewksbury at the moment,
right?
Or Basilweather, whatever his name is.
Right.
Well, of course, you got to remember too that in the Holmes books, the police have always been the ones that are, they're just absent-minded. They're never really paying attention to what they should be. Which helps Holmes to solve the case. So that's the way I look at it here too. Because Lestrade's the same way. Because of course Lestrade's a character from Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of always the way that the authorities have always been in these books. Is that it's like I don't care. You got to do what everybody else does, and that kind of a thing. So.
Yeah. All right, so they sit down and they wait in the waiting room, or whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden, out walks Lestrade and someone else.
Her brother.
Yeah. Oh, but first she's drawing something.
Yeah,
I can't leave this out.
Well, she drew a picture of, on her way over to Scotland Yard, she drew a picture of Cutter and Madam. And she realizes after looking at both of them side by side that they are the same person.
That's right. So this is before they got to Scotland Yard.
So that's the connection.
So she drops it off at Scotland Yard so they have an idea of how to catch the person involved with the abduction.
So she's going to out-cut her as a
cross-dresser.
Cross-dressing drag queen.
Yep.
Sort of. Actually, just a scoundrel who's figured out a way to make a buck off people that are mourning and suffering.
Yep. All right. So
but what was the one thing that kept coming up? Did anybody else pick up on? There was one characteristic, one trait of both the madam and Cutter that she just picked up on. It was the red hair sticking out of his ears.
Yeah.
She just kept coming back to that.
Yeah.
That was something she noticed that it just stuck in her mind.
Which I think this is funny because when we first caught a glimpse of Madame Figsbottom, I had envisioned her to look like what's her name from the Goonies, the head honcho mother from the Goonies,
Oh, yeah.
the evil woman.
Yeah.
And when we were introduced to Kata, my impression of him was, and I really wish that I could properly describe this, and I forget what movie it's from. But it wasn't that. Tall, lanky, and with the red hair coming out of his ears and whatnot. So yes, I keep calling her Madam Fakesbottom because I can't pronounce
It's Lelia.
Madam Lelia, which isn't even a real name because it's Cutter and he dresses in drag. So yeah.
I highly doubt that Cutter was his real name either, too.
Yeah.
I probably not.
No, but I suspect
Well,
but since he liked to use a knife, I suspect he earned that knife or earned that name for a reason.
That's what I think too. Cutter. It was a reason there's a reason why he was called Cutter, and there's a reason why Squeaky was called Squeaky.
Right.
So.
Garrett. All right. Her real name is this is the name he gave himself as Madam Lelia Sybil de Papia
Go ahead.
I can't do it. See what I mean? Madam Fakesbottom. I can't. All right. So he says to her, this is funny. He says to her, so they're sitting on the bench at the police station waiting their turn. And Tukey says to Enola, "You're lucky with all that padding." And she's like, "Hush." And she's completely shocked that he's saying that. So he says, "Don't tell me to hush. Tell me who you are." And she says, "No." And she's whispering because she doesn't want other people to hear. And
She didn't want Sherlock
there's
to hear.
people. There's people walking by, and I mean, it's sure it's busy.
By. Yeah. So now here's the part where Lestrade walks out, and he's walking out, and it's Sherlock with him.
Mm-hmm.
They walk towards them, deep in conversation, and they stop kind of near them, and Sherlock's back is towards Enola, so he can't see her. And she's trying to think of how am I supposed to disguise myself? She's trying to act normal. She hides her hands in her dress. And they start talking and start talking about things. And in that conversation, does anyone want to pick out anything particular in the conversation that they're having between Sherlock and Lestrade?
Oh, let's see. I'm
Because
behind here in
it's
the book.
basically Lestrade trying to convince Sherlock to try to solve this Tewkesbury case. And Sherlock saying, "Well, you're not helping me find my sister."
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And he would like to, but he's busy with this Tewkesbury thing or Basilwell thing at the moment.
And Sherlock pretty much dismisses the fact that his mother's missing. He's like, "No, she's a grown woman. She's not missing. She ran off." Which kind of irks Enola and makes her a little hot-blooded. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, so he says, my mother's a different matter entirely. My sister is an innocent. She seemed intelligent enough, Lestrade says, when I spoke with her. She certainly deceived me. I would have sworn she was 25 at least, poised, well-spoken, and thoughtful. And then her scowl, Enola's scowl, is smoothed away. She's like, I quite approve of Lestrade. And it's funny because Lestrade sees that side of her, which is what Sherlock fails to see in his sister because of his mother's he sees the reckless, immature side of her.
Well, no, he sees all women as inferior.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he does say, he did say something, though, I thought it was a little bit encouraging. No, maybe not here. Maybe I saw that in the movie part, but Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just getting that confused. But Lestrade's the one that's building her up a little bit.
Yeah. So because he does say, where is it? Thoughtful and imaginative, perhaps, but certainly no stranger to the weakness and irrationality of her sex.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me want to punch my computer screen, but that's besides the point. So he says, going down a little bit, whereas I was saying earlier, anything could be happening to a young person of yet more tenure years, the Duke of Basilweather's son. So Lestrade's really trying to push for finding this kid. So anyways, what does Tukey do? He stands up. And Enola takes this chance to flee. While
That's the scene.
Tukey stands up, all attention is on Tewksbury now because Sherlock and Lestrade turn around and they find him. Lelia, yes, thank you, Dennis. See, Annie too, Madame Fratelli. She reminded her of Fratelli too. That's what I was thinking. Okay, anyways. So she excuses herself. She goes into a room, and there's a constable in there, whatever he is, empty room, besides one guy. And she says, "Excuse me, the sergeant wants you at the front desk," because she looks like she could work there. She looks like a secretary or a worker or something like that. And he's like, "Okay, So he gets up and leaves, and she climbs out the window and escapes. She's at the corner. She gets on the omnibus. And paid her fare, took a seat among many other Londoners upon the roof, and did not look back. Likely my brother and Lestrade were questioning Tukey as his big bus trundled away. So now she's thinking he's going to give her away. I don't think he's going to give her away, though.
No, I don't think so either.
I think he's going to conceal her identity. Jack Twaddle, welcome in.
Hey, Jack. Hi, Jack.
Jackie Boy. I love saying that. That's from the Newsies. So, Jack, if you ever wonder why I call you Jackie Boy, it's from the Newsies.
Well, I say hi, Jack, because it's, you can't say that on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you wouldn't want to holler out, "Hi, Jack."
That's a good point. Garrett's never seen the Goonies. Okay, Garrett, seriously. Watch the Goonies. That's all I'm going to say about that. Kate Atwood,
Yet he's read Everybody Poops. I mean, come on, Garrett.
Wait, Everybody Poops?
That's one of the books he wants to read. He said that a minute ago. Everybody Poops.
But
that's one of his suggestions. Then he hadn't seen the Goonies. I mean, come on.
Oh, boy.
So realistically, to kind of sum up the rest of this book, I mean, she escapes. She thinks that he's going to rat her out. But then again, you got to remember that she never actually gave her name.
Yeah.
Right.
So he knows somewhat, if he was listening, that she was related to Holmes, or the Holmes was mentioned during the kidnapping under the boat.
Yeah.
But she does make a free, clear getaway, and looks like Tukey goes back home.
Well, we assume.
Wait a minute. She left it. Can't find some. She left the drawings though there, and he found them, didn't he?
On the bench, yes.
Okay.
And that's how. And then in the next chapter, the chapter that kind of sums up what happens in the future, she sees.
Well, hold on. We forgot. She's writing a cipher to her mother in one of the a bunch of the newspapers. Something that her mother would pick up on, but she knows that her brother reads the agony columns, as he called them, but he wouldn't pick up on it because he couldn't figure out why his mother didn't take her buffet or whatever that thing's called, bustle. And so she's thinking she's pretty safe with that, but she writes the cipher and it ends pretty much. And then what's in the next chapters, Tracy? Go ahead. Now go carry on.
So the next chapter is pretty much she sets up her own after Cutter was arrested for being a fake on the Madam. They arrest him. They take him to jail. So she moves into pretty much to where Madam was. Mm-hmm. She pretty much takes over the same office that the fake where Cutter was using his fake identity out of.
Wait, who moves in there?
If anybody remembers the show Remington Steele from years ago.
Wait, what show?
The what show?
Remington Steele.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, there was a show called Remington Steele. What there was the woman set up a detective agency because she thought the man would have a better option of getting hiring. So that's what she does. She opens up a a finder of lost people shop. She acts as the secretary, and nobody ever sees the original the owner of the shop. She does pretty much all the investigations.
She takes all the information, but then she's actually doing all the investigation.
Yeah, she always has an excuse. He's always at the university. He's in a meeting. He's on sabbatical or something, so nobody ever sees him.
Enola Holmes, or is this in the TV show?
This is Enola Holmes.
Okay.
So Enola Holmes.
I didn't read the last.
I'm sorry.
So.
I'm sorry. I kind of got you mixed up.
No. Go ahead.
So Enola sets up her shop. She's now setting up her shop as a 15-year-old, right? Because it's a year later.
But nobody knows that. I mean,
but nobody knows that because she's pulling off that she's older. She's already she's already faked Lestrade as an older girl. She goes by her original made up name, Ivy Michelle. I think it was
Meshel.
Yeah.
And she also gets a cipher back from her mom.
Mm-hmm.
But the unique thing and what Tracy was saying at the beginning was what was interesting is she took over the offices of Madame Fakebottom because she knew those were empty and were going to be empty. So she rented those from her and changed the name on the sign. Right, Tracy? Is that not correct?
Right, pretty much. She pretty much
took over Fakebottom's office over and turned it into her detective agency, which I thought was ironic.
Right.
Huh.
So she does get a cipher from her mom.
Yeah.
And her mom's pretty much in the cipher says that she's out enjoying life and she still loves her. Pretty much the way.
She says, I am blooming in the sun, not only chrysanthemum, also rambling rose. So even that was, coded.
So rambling rose means that she's out rambling, and a rose means she still loves her.
Loves her, yeah.
I find this very selfish of the mother because who leaves a 14-year-old to fend for themselves? Maybe she figured she wouldn't have gone. Maybe her brothers wouldn't have sent her to a secondary school. I think for the mom's sake, I think it's short-sighted.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, I think we get more answers in the other books about the mom. I still think that's the underlying story throughout the whole series. But then the different cases are happening while she's still trying to connect and as she's growing. Because, this is setting up now for the next book to where she's got this, this organization that she's set up that she can take cases, and do this detective stuff still under Sherlock's nose also.
Correct.
And, and still try and figure out what's really going on. And I think that's kind of the underlying. Now, the film has a little bit, and we'll get into this next week, but it has a little bit more answers because it has to end up kind of a happy ending. Right. But I think, I think it is. It just kind of ends here with a cliffhanger as to what's going on with mom. So. Right.
Mm-hmm. So. And I mean, we may get to another book in the series. It just depends on, who brings what comes up to the table.
We'll add it to the wheel of names.
Yes, let's do. I'd like to do that. I have a comment. I hate to keep referring to TV, but there's actually going back to the thing about an office name and going by under a man. And Remington Steele was a good example. I hadn't thought of that, but there's been another TV series on PBS, and I think it's probably on Netflix, about a young lady whose father was a detective. He strangely disappeared, or not disappeared. He died under mysterious terms. Although the doctor said, well, he had a heart attack. But she does the same thing. She's a detective. He technically trained her how to be a detective, even though he knew, and it's about this same time period. He knew people wouldn't really take her seriously because she was a woman, but. So she takes over his business, but everybody keeps coming to see him, so that she takes down the information. I mean, it's actually, now that I think about it, it's very much like this book in a way, in that regard, that she sets up a detective agency. She just keeps his in this case and leaves his name on the door. So when people show up, they think he's going to be there. He's not. So she takes the notes and messages, and she goes out to solve the crime or solve the mystery. So I guess that's a kind of a good way to do it, especially back then when you wouldn't get as much respect as a a female detective, if any. I mean, people wouldn't. I can only imagine how difficult that was. I'm not sure it's any much easier today, and it should be, but certainly back then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was trying to ask Brenda what the name of that was, but she couldn't hear me. So seems like it's got a Rose in the name, but I can't think of the whole thing.
Right. All right. Closing thoughts before we start wrapping up. Anybody else want to say? Gina, Sunshine, Russ, anything you want to chime in?
I will say that I was very surprised at how much you guys like this book.
Me too.
I'm surprised how long it took us to get through this.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did have we skipped a couple weeks, but I mean, I think it ended up being much better than what I thought it was going to be, for sure. But yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. So,
Tina just had milk go through her nose.
No, iced tea all over my face.
I thought it turned out to be a really good book. I mean,
yeah. No, I just was surprised. I didn't think it was going to be. I just didn't think it was going to be this interesting. So,
all right.
That show I was thinking about is named Miss Scarlet.
Oh, okay.
Miss Scarlet and the Duke, I believe is the whole name. The Duke's Stockland.
And I will say,
Scotland Yard guy.
I will say, as I watched the film before the reading of the book. The book is much better.
I think so too. I've like I said before, I've seen a little bit of the movie. I'm going to watch it all now.
Yeah,
but I'm amazed at how they. I guess they did that to cram it all into one movie.
Yeah,
maybe. But I think the book was a much better story.
Yeah.
I guess they just.
We'll get into that when we
we'll talk about that next time.
All right. So, anyone else before we move on? No. Okay. So next week I will not be in Studio A. I will be on location somewhere. Do we still want to review the movie and talk about it next week? Are we okay with that?
If it's okay with you, I'm fine with it.
That's fine. I can chime in from wherever I am. It doesn't matter.
And if you run into troubles, you can get a hold of one of us and we can take
one
over.
of you guys can host it. Totally fine. So next week, the movie is on Netflix. It's called Enola Holmes. We're going to watch the movie and then review it. Next book, listen, what Cynthia says here, I have other books, so let's get them going. If you have a book you want to add to book club, send it to me on Instagram. If someone can post my Instagram link, if you don't follow me on Instagram, message me. I will add it to our wheel of names, and then we will spin the wheel when I get back from vacation, and we will pick the book. And so you have about 2 weeks to send in your request. After that, we are going to take the month of July off for book club, and then resume the first Monday of August, whatever that is. I think it's the 2nd.
Can't find my calendar.
Garrett.
So
what did he do now?
What did he do?
Cucumber King, please.
Absolutely, Kay. Okay. This is the kind of books that he sends me. Instagram, Madam Fakes Bottom. No, Ross, that is not my Instagram tag or my Instagram handle.
I was gonna say that's not the one I use.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you.
I knew Cynthia'd get it right.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, and so next time we resume, it might be a little bit of a different format of book club. So make sure that you tune into my Wednesday whateverness shows. This isn't a bribe to try to get you to come watch my Wednesday shows. This isn't the only way I'm going to be able to tell everyone what kind of format it's going to be. We might go down to once a month. It might be switching channels. We don't know yet. We're going to decide that afterwards. So make sure that you are subscribed to all of my friends who are going to go around the horn and talk about their channels. Tracy, I'll let you go first because I think, is Kenzie going live at 4:30?
She might be. She's been napping. She's got a migraine, so I'm hoping that she does still. So
okay.
So then I'm gonna, as soon as I say it, I'm gonna bail. today, 4:30 at Kenzie Days. If she goes live, make sure you subscribe to her. I think they're reviewing the last part of our trip. And I can't really commit to anything because I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. Unlike Russ, things are crazy, so I don't know for sure. So Thursday may go on, Thursday may not go on. I don't know.
Okay. But there's Tracy's link in the chat. Candy Mom put it in. Make sure you're subscribed to have the bell rung for Tracy Glenn. And Tracy, it was good to have you back. And I'll see you next week.
Yep.
Bye. Sunshine, I know you don't have a channel. She's just along for this glorious ride.
Yeah.
We enjoy. Go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead. I'll let you go.
Oh, yeah, I've had lots of fun. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
Reminder.
He's my alarm clock. I've had lots of fun with you guys too.
So,
but no, I don't have a channel.
Okay. Well, we are glad that you joined us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you hopefully next week when we do watch the movie.
Yep.
So Gina, I know you don't have a channel either. She's just also along on this ride. And there's Teddy.
Here's Teddy.
So Gina, anything that you want to talk about before I move on to Mr. Tim over there, Seasick Bear?
My husband took the week off last week, so we kind of were doing some different things, but I'm getting there. Hopefully soon.
Gina is thinking about starting a channel, or she's in the process of trying to start a channel. And so we'll keep you guys posted on if and when she gets that up and running. Not if, when she gets that up and running. Tim, how about you? What's going on your channel?
Oh, Teddy and I'll be on Saturday morning, probably for an hour or two, and I'm not sure. I know one thing I'm going to be talking about. I'm working on something new that I'm going to try to do maybe once or twice a month. A local activity that I used to participate in when I was able, and it's sort of since I still can't ride my motorcycle, it's sort of a way to do that vicariously through others. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit Saturday. So I'm hoping that happens. If it does, that might be a Tuesday night thing later, or I might not go live. I might just vlog it if I can figure out how to edit everything. But it could be something new. I'm going to give it a try.
Sweet. Yeah, Tina says, love Saturday morning shine. Yes, Tim always has something enlightening that he talks about, and I really enjoy. But Jason Flipper loves watching you on Saturday mornings, Tim.
Oh, well,
he's
good.
Really engaged. So, yeah. All right, and Russ, my partner channel. What you got coming up?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to be back, and like I say, my schedule is still kind of up in the air, and so I'll be here when I can, and do things when I can. Same with on my channel. It's right now I'll do things when I can. I'm actually just right now. I just got a weather report for tomorrow's rocket launch. The plan is that we will go to Cape Canaveral tomorrow, and at some point in the afternoon, as long as the weather permitting and signal permitting and the launch happens, we're either myself or Wonderful Older Walter will live stream it, and so you guys can watch the rocket launch from there. And then tomorrow evening at 11:30 p.m. We'll be live streaming fireworks from the beach of the Polynesian. Cool. So that's the plan right now. We also have some other things planned throughout the week. So just keep, me and Wonderful Walter, keep an eye on our channels for that. Sweet. So,
Russ, if you want to put their link in the chat.
That has nothing to do with your training, right?
No.
Okay, I thought maybe that you were going down there for something associated with them. Okay.
No. Cool. This is I have the rest of the week off. I don't go back again until the 7th to work. So,
do you know where you're going to watch I'm taking up time, I realize, but you have any idea where you're going to watch the launch from?
No, I don't. I've never been out to Cape Canaveral. I've never been. to anything. Mark is the one that's involved in this and is heading this up. So
we'll stay backstage when we go off.
We'll talk about it when we're done. So Tina just
Awesome.
mentioned that Kenzie is not going to go live. So
Yes.
she must not be
okay.
So
Okay.
But I'm sure that she will pick it up the next week. So
yeah,
as long as she's able. So
and there's a lot of fun action going on tonight. Steve's World will be live at 6:00 from Epcot and Animal Kingdom. He's going to do a double header, and oh my gosh, Chomps! I have a channel, Tina, but gotta wait till I move out of my mom's basement apartment. It's a work in progress. Oh my gosh, Chomps, you killed me.
Dear.
Remember, Chomps, Sunshine's in here.
Wait
she
a
can
minute.
verify.
Am I your mother?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to make of that. I was like, do I say anything or not? Surf Bomb, hey John, welcome in. Good to see you.
Hey, John.
Yeah. So, anyways, tonight all the things. LBV TV is live, and Resort TV 1 is live, and then Meg, and then PTV, and then Viapre Project at 9:45, I think, or 9:30. And so it's an action-packed Monday, guys. Go check out all my friends. I will be live on Wednesday. You will see me. We're gonna build Lego. And Friday, you're probably gonna get an on the road stream instead of a hangout stream at 2:00. We'll probably go live from the road. Because you guys keep me sane while I'm in the car we're not going to stream for 4 hours. It takes 4
Flipper
hours.
and Tina in the car.
But we're gonna hang and have a chat. So
I think you should time that so that as you're driving down, when you cross into Mass, and your accent really starts kicking back in, we can document that on video. I think that would be a really fun thing to do.
Do your kids vomit like Garrett and Michelle's?
No, my kids don't get classic. They're pretty okay. Yeah,
sorry about that, Garrett.
It stays that way. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, message me on Instagram if you have a book suggestion you want added to the wheel. We'll see you next week for the movie review, which is on Netflix. So come prepared, or just come and chat. I mean, either way, if you don't mind spoilers. Chomp says, I like Legos. Where can I find this wonderful channel? You are sitting right in it, Chomp. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, she hopes is right. And there's my other partner channel, Dad Builds Chris. Welcome in. And
This
is our dream. Welcome in. Just wrapping things up.
Hey, Jeff.
Jeff, are you going live tonight at all? I don't know.
He's back in Pennsylvania.
That's right. They're back in Pennsylvania. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jeff. I did not mean to rub that in your face. It's going to be a week of amazing streams because fireworks are back in Walt Disney World, guys. And next week, I'll also be streaming fireworks from somewhere, not Walt Disney World, somewhere in Boston. So we'll see. Anyways,
I bet that is good.
If you want to check out all the things, thank you so much for watching. Know that you are a blessing and that you are appreciated and that you are loved. Think of a wonderful thought, any merry little thought.